Well, it's a big night for the Canadian Hockey League as the long anticipated CHL US Prospects Challenge game takes place tonight between the CHL and the US National Development Program. First game tonight will be in London, and then the second game tomorrow in Oshawa. This is going to be a fascinating matchup because in the past we've seen the Canada-Russia Junior Series where a Russian junior team would come to Canada and play in the Quebec League, the O, and the Dub. But now, with of course everything that's been going on with Russian sanctions and whatnot, they've now focused to the Canada-U.S. rivalry, and you have to figure National Hockey League scouts are pretty excited about this matchup, seeing the top talent for the upcoming 2025 NHL entry draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see how this game all plays out. And of course, the players who are there arrived on Monday, and we've already seen some behind-the-scenes moments with some of the players. And Kayshawn Aitchison, he wears number 77 with the Barrie Colts. And then Michael Misa also wearing number 77 with the Saginaw Spirit. It turns out Aitchison will somehow wear number 77. And there's actually a clip on social media of the two players talking about how Aitchison got his number and how Misa a little not too happy to have to change numbers for this tournament. But it's all in good fun. But it is kind of nice to see just the personalities coming out. If you're a jersey nerd, it's really cool when they do these warm-ups wearing their home jerseys. And so you get a wide variety of looks out on the ice, which is pretty cool as from a jersey fan standpoint. And I know some people have been asking for some more rankings here on the channel, particularly a jersey rankings. I'm hoping to do that maybe by the end of this week, maybe next week, but still, I am looking to do a jersey rankings when it comes to the Ontario Hockey League. So stay tuned for that if you haven't hit subscribe already to be notified when we do that video. Now, I am going to let you know this is a London Knights heavy video. So I know the Knights can be a very divisive team when it comes to junior hockey. You're either a huge fan of the Knights or you're a fan of another team and you don't really want to hear the London Knights when they're doing too well. But here we go. We're going to dive right in. You've been warned. So there was a trade earlier today between the London Knights and the Niagara IceDogs. So London has traded Blake Arrowsmith to the IceDogs for 2 third-round picks in 2026 and 2028, along with Sarnia's 6th-round pick in 2025. So not a bad pickup here for the London Knights because this trade kind of reminds me when they did a deal with Sarnia at the beginning of the season. You'll remember that Caden Johnston was traded from the Knights to the Sting for what was just a 4th-round pick in 2027. So because these two players are pretty similar. These are players that are low on the depth chart. They're in the bottom 6, not getting a lot of ice time because, let's face it, this is a Knights team that's very strong up front, probably comparable to an American Hockey League team with the talent. So with that, Arrowsmith will move out to Niagara where he will get more ice time. And I think it's going to be a benefit for him too, because remember, Arrowsmith, he had a great start to the regular season. In 15 games so far with London this year, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. And most of those points were within the first few weeks of the regular season. When you go by his game-by-game stats, he opened the year on a 4-game point streak. And Arrowsmith was getting some attention early on as a rookie forward out of Ohio. But when players started coming back from the NHL, Arrowsmith went down the lineup. He's been playing some 4th-line minutes ever since. And with that, it is a move for him going to a team that's doing really well right now in the Eastern Conference. Of course, Niagara trying to keep pace with Barrie for top spot in the Central Division. So I think this is a good move for Arrowsmith. He's going to get more ice time with the IceDogs. And for some reason, Niagara and London, they love to do deals with one another. We've been seeing this quite a bit. Last year, it was Crane who was traded from London to Niagara. That was early in the season. And of course, Crane was then flipped to Guelph at the OHL trade deadline last year. So all in all, some good assets here that London's getting back. I would assume those draft picks will likely be involved in another trade closer to the deadline if the London Knights look to add, although I don't really think they need to add too many pieces, kind of like last year where they only made the one move at the trade deadline, and that was it. That was to address their overage spot. So I do like this move for Niagara, picking up Arrowsmith, and I think it makes sense here for London to pick up some draft capital. Sticking with the Knights, we have a suspension to talk about as Kaspar Halttunen, of course, was just returned from the San Jose Sharks 2 weeks ago back to the OHL. And Halttunen, he was given a major penalty for a check from behind, and that was on James Go in the game Saturday against the Saginaw Spirit. That game between London and Saginaw got a little nasty at times. So Halttunen suspended 4 games as a result. Well, we're still waiting for an announcement on Ryder Bolton. He was handed a major for slashing, and right now that's still listed as to be determined. So the Ontario Hockey League taking a long look at the suspension for Ryder Bolton, and right now the London Knights not too thrilled that Halttunen has been handed a 4-game suspension. Mark Hunter, the GM of the London Knights, has come out and he said he's disappointed and he doesn't understand it, and he just wants some consistency from the league. As we've seen, for example, Porter Martone, he was given a 1-game suspension for a check from behind. Also Fitzgerald with the Peterborough Petes, although some are saying that maybe Halttunen could have didn't need to finish the check behind the net, but right now the London Knights not too pleased with the 4-game suspension handed out to Halttunen, which means he will not be available for this weekend's road trip for the East Division, and also not available from the looks of it may be Easton Cowan. He missed Sunday's game against Ottawa due to a lower body injury. He has still not been back on the ice. They said it was for maintenance purposes that he missed the game on Sunday, but he's still not on the ice, according to Ryan Payette, the reporter for the London Free Press. Also of note, Denver Barkey also dealing with an ailment. So 2 top players dealing with injuries from the London Knights, and then you're also missing Kaspar Halttunen and Ryder Bolton, potential suspension. So the Knights winning streak might be in jeopardy, because remember, London right now riding that 15-game winning streak, and for this team, they needed a shootout to defeat Ottawa over the weekend. But one player that I don't think is getting as much attention as maybe he needs to is Sam Dickinson. He has been top-notch this season. The San Jose Sharks draft pick. He right now has 38 points in 21 games of work. He's in the top 3 when it comes to points in the Ontario Hockey League. And we haven't seen a defenseman lead the league in scoring since the early 90s. That's the last time that we had a defenseman that high. But for Sam Dickinson, even over these last 5 games, so I did a video looking at the 10-game winning streak at the time of the London Knights, and I mentioned how Dixon was leading the way in scoring. And over these last 5 games, no different. 2 goals, 7 assists, and that includes a 6-point night against Saginaw on Saturday. So Sam Dickinson, a big contributing factor for why this London Knights team keeps on winning. Of course, there's the Easton Cowan point streak, which now sits at 54 games. Although someone in the comments section did point out that the point streak is not being recognized because the all-time record is 55 games held by Doug Gilmour, but that was in 1 season. For Easton Cowan, his point streak stretches from last year into this season, and because of that, it's not being recognized as a record in the Canadian Hockey League, but it does deserve some attention. But for Easton Cowan, he only has 2 goals, 4 assists over the last 4 games of action that he has seen. Denver Barkey, 2 goals, 5 assists, not too shabby for him. Oliver Bonk, he's picked up his game over the last 5, 3 goals, 1 assist. Kaspar Halttunen, who of course is now suspended, a goal, 2 assists over the last 5 games. Rene Van Bommel, he's kind of stood out to me. He's got 3 assists over the last 5 games. It just goes to show the depth of this London Knights team that even though he might not be getting top-line minutes, he's still finding ways to contribute. You have Logan Howery. He scored 2 goals over the last 5. Sam O'Reilly, a goal and assist over the last 5 games. William Nickel, also a goal and an assist, along with Jesse Nurmi and Blake Montgomery. And the other thing with Arrowsmith being moved out, we're seeing additions like Blake Montgomery, who recently signed following the NCAA Division I vote. So I think for the London Knights, despite missing key players going into this weekend, I would not be surprised to see this this winning streak, or at least point streak, continue. They are playing in Peterborough Thursday night. We all know the Petes only have 2 wins on the regular season. It's the Friday night game in Kingston, though, that's going to be fascinating, because if there's no Cowan, no Barkey, no Halttunen, no Bolton, maybe the Frontenacs have a chance here to upset the London Knights, who look to be the top team right now in the Canadian Hockey League. And then on Sunday, of course, the London Knights will be in Ottawa. So usually it's these long distance trips, a bit of a challenge, but this is a very strong Knights team. But when you're missing those key pieces, it's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out going forward from here. So I know this was a lot of London news items here in this news video for today, but these are all important things being discussed right now around the Ontario Hockey League. So thought I would mention it here. Let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on maybe the Halttunen suspension or your thoughts on the London Knights. Love the interactions. Thank you very much for all your support. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.